Let's see. So this is an article. I want to say just a few little things about it. That it's it's an article that was written for other academics at the time. So just so we know that it wasn't at the time it was published in 2004 really designed that we're going to read it in class, and we're going to have various academic articles in here. So some people are old hats at reading academic articles in the humanities or in science, or in this case at the intersection of humanities and science. And other people have had less introduction to that. So I just want to take a minute and say how I approach reading a new article, because we'll have some of them. First, always take a second and think about the title for a second. Figure out, okay, sometimes I even just write it down and put it somewhere, because when I'm not assigning articles, there are things that you can put down at any point. And so when I get to the point where I'm somewhere through it and I see they're not talking about the title, they're not answering, then I can throw it away. You're not allowed to do that in this class, but that's assigned to do. Then I always start paying attention to the bold points and try to see about that, because I don't read very fast and things, so I'll want to jump ahead of it. But always read the introduction really carefully. I would, in some ways, if you have, let's say this would never happen to you, but you're behind on a reading or something, it's 10 minutes before class and you're trying to figure out what to do. Don't read the whole thing fast. Read the introduction really carefully twice. And that's because that's where almost everything should be there if it's a good article. We may read, because you'll get to very specific things as you get to your projects, we may get to the point where you're kind of assigning yourself articles, or it's like, hey, look at these 5 articles that I may have seen. If at the end of the introduction, again, you don't know anything what it's going to be about, throw it out, move to the next article. But a well-written article should give everything there. I go to the pictures yet. Next, I don't want to ever see that cliche of pictures with 1,000 words in any of your things, but it's kind of true. So you can figure out, okay, what are we going to be talking about? From reading the introduction, I knew we're going to be talking about music representation. So I start asking, are these music representations that are being talked about? And then when I look at the text, I can do it. I can see, okay, the next topic is issues of representation. I've skimmed ahead, so I know there's only 2 real topics in this. So this should be the first half of it. Oh my gosh, that's why I remember. Gosh, okay. And just read the first sentence, the first paragraph of that, and go ahead and see if the ending tells you what it's going to be about. This is not like watching your favorite movie. Academic article, you shouldn't feel like you're spoiling the great reveal. There's maybe 5 articles in my life where I think if I read this way the first time I saw it, I would have ruined the article. All the rest, I just improved myself. So I can see that, okay, so we have a problem of multiple requirements and we have some sort of a solution that doesn't work. And so then I can go back and read and try to figure out what it is we're going to be talking about. And we can see the final thing is an introduction to the next section. You can see that the second part is a case study of one particular example of computational and comparative and computational musicology. And I can see, okay, I probably should have some fun looking at that later. And then jump to the conclusion. And this article's great in that it does label its conclusion with, where is it? The word conclusion. Not every article does that. But again, go ahead and read the last couple paragraphs of the article so you find where it ends, go back, and go ahead and figure out what the article is going to be about. When you're assigning articles to yourself, and the articles just keep getting longer. It's this weird thing that people used to write things in typewriters, double-spaced in Courier 14 point. Now we write single-spaced in Times New Roman 11 or 12 or something. And but people keep thinking that my article needs to be 30 pages long, and that's actually double the length of articles. So they're starting to get too long. I do encourage you to read like this, and then only after you figure out what the main conclusions of the article are. This one is pretty obvious to those of us in this class that you can use computational methods without giving up deterministic values. Only once we've done that, we go back. Hopefully, you can skip notes the first time you read, because if they've written well, these should be additional parts or places that you can look at later. If it's a poorly written article, then you have to read the notes to get to it. And if it's a new subject, go ahead and look at the references and see who appears a lot. So you can see, okay, these are probably important people. Okay, this guy, Paul von Hippel, Huron. I should probably, if I want to go further, read something by Huron. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's just more and more of them. And then also, if there's anybody that we recognize from the class, who will, you'll be looking at Eleanor Selfridge Field's writings today. She's awesome. So with this in mind, these are some of the strategies that I go through in looking at it. And then the other great strategy is talk to people, and hopefully they can give you their take on the article. And again, we can, be richer for it.